DC definitely needs improvement. I don't know if it needs a superhero. I don't, yeah. I, DC's
Uh,
a cool town.
but if you did have to have a superhero for DC, because most other cities, especially New York, has so many superheroes, and we don't.
You mean in
So
fiction?
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
in fiction.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
superheroes. I don't know. Well, yeah,
Some people still believe.
yeah. So what would your superhero be like for DC?
I don't know. I think if I had a superhero in DC, I think that he would.
What's it to he?
I guess it could be a she. He or she would be very. The biggest issue I think I have here in DC is the WMATA, the subway. So I think the best superhero that DC could have is somebody who knows how to do track maintenance really fast. They would just go through, fly through the WMATA in one pass, fix everything. And then suddenly the subway would start working on the weekend. And maybe they'd be very good at repairing escalators, like super fast escalator repairman. And he would go through, and all the escalators suddenly would start working. That we could use.
So someone like
Very very practical.
That
Yeah,
was handyman.
very handy. Yeah, very handy. A handy superhero.
So what gender do you think? What gender
Well, I mean
superhero would you prefer the superhero to be? Male or female?
stereotypical handyman tends to be male. I
Okay.
don't think I have a terribly strong preference. I mean, a cute superhero girl would also be fun. Hey, who would say no to that, right?
So what about his her secret identity? What kind of person is she at least?
Well, there's a lot of nooks and crannies in DC, so he or she could probably just blend in wherever. But I don't know, maybe just get to really know the feel of people, work in politics like everyone else, like I do, campaign politics. Uh, Maybe there are other superhero powers. They get the media to actually investigate the claims in political ads so that we know what's really happening.
So what occupation? What
Oh, I
sort
don't
of
know. Maybe a lobbyist, a
aims?
high-powered lobbyist, super connected, visits the White House from time to time, sees what's going on from the top, but then knows how to see what's going on from the bottom. Maybe they could work at the DC public schools. Administrator there. That'd be perfect. Get to see DC, know the sites, know the scene, but still know the echelons of power so they can see the top eye view as well. Or maybe they could work at WMATA, administrator by day, knows what's going on, knows what's breaking, can see the lights flashing, and lights are flashing in between Farragut North and DuPont. Better like poof, switch into my superhero gear, go fix the subway before it breaks.
So what kind of superpowers? You mentioned a few, but like if you had to summarize, what superpowers would he have?
Well, DC's already a fast city, so whoever it is would have to be very quick. You walk around here and everybody's walking at lightning speed, so they'd have to be faster than that. Um, uh, I was traveling recently and somebody told me that they couldn't understand me. Somebody didn't speak English as a first language because I spoke so fast, which apparently is really typical in DC. I didn't know that. So they'd probably be a fast talker. Yeah.
Any other superpowers?
Um, any other superpowers? An amazing bicyclist. DC is great for biking. Very strong legs. Instead of a Batmobile, they have a bike-mobile of some sort.
So what about hamartia, like a fatal flaw that this superhero has?
Fatal flaws. Let's see. So, I don't know if we'd go for something natural. Kryptonite's too cliche.
Just a flaw, like
Um, if I hadn't already said that this person should be able to repair, maybe a fatal flaw can't handle it when the escalator's blocked. Stand on the right, walk to the left. They can't handle it. They flip out. It's like their Achilles heel. If people aren't walking on the left side of the escalator, they're gonna die.
Cool. What about dilemmas that he grapples with? Problems in his
um,
regular life as well as superhero life.
well, now you have me thinking about a she who works at the WMATA by day and repairs it by night. And I don't know, dilemmas. How to date in DC can be pretty challenging. Why is it that all of my friends keep leaving the city after a year or two? Another dilemma that people could have.
So, finally, appearance. What do you think? How would your superhero look like? If you had imagined her, right now it's kind of her or him. Your choice.
I'm imagining her being the sophisticated type. You know, maybe she does the Clark Kent thing, thick glasses at her day job. You know, with pushing them up constantly. A classy drip button-down blouse. You know, classy girl, smart girl who can go to Gibson or to where else? To Russia House and totally blend in, meet people, talk the talk, do the networking when she needs to. Yeah.
And what about her costume? Like, as a superhero,
Oh, as a superhero,
what kind of costume do you envision if you had
sexy overalls. She's gonna be fixing the Wamata. Does that fit under a business suit that she's working in? What else? She definitely needs a cape. Obviously, you're not a superhero if you don't have a cape. Maybe I don't know, just a nice cape. It could be satiny. It could be thick, with canvas, since she's a working girl. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, cool. Uh, then, so what about a nemesis? What kind of nemesis would you think she would have?
Incompetent bureaucrats. She definitely have a lot of nemesis, probably. Um, I don't know, lazy people, lazy bureaucrats. Yeah, people who like to push paperwork. Um, her her nemesis actually secretly works with her and fills her inbox with forms that she needs to fill out. It's the worst. She hates it. Drives her nuts. It's almost as bad as the escalator.
So, since you're talking about superheroes, what superhero characteristic do you think you have in your life? Like, if you'd make
Oh, I don't know.
what kind of powers?
What kind of powers?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd like to think I'm handy. I don't think I would be fixing Wamata anytime soon. I know. I think I'm pretty polite. I can politely get people to stand on the right side of the escalator and walk on the left side. Um, let's see, what else? I'd like to think I'm pretty social. Bring people together. You know, people who are new to DC, help them find a new community of friends. So that's a good skill to have, I think, here in DC.
Yeah. So, finally, what kind of name, if you have a name of the superhero, what would you name the superhero?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. Since she, I mean, let's say I'm thinking of Wamata and trying to think of a play on words. I don't know, Wanda Handy. It's not bad, Wanda Handy.
Okay, cool.
I'd be down with that.
Can you say that again?
Wanda Handy. I think that's a good name for a superhero.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much.
You are welcome, sir.
Can you talk about the weakness? So if she sees people like standing on the left hand side, does she have to like stop everything and just?
She can't breathe. She just has to hold her breath until she gets to the top of the escalator. She'll start maybe not that she can't breathe. She'll start hyperventilating when she sees people who don't know that you're supposed to walk on the left. Get antsy, and she has a hard time. You know, not like she has to stop from saying anything. Otherwise, she's gonna be really rude.
And so, like, does that distract her from, like, thinking, like, she's flying to, say, do some repair work and help people out, and suddenly she sees, like, somebody on an escalator, basically, right? Sees an escalator, and she goes, that's like,
She's just
her
yeah.
performance, like,
She has to stop and watch them because it just bothers her so much. She wants to say something, but she can't. It would break her superhero vows or something. Yeah.
Any other names you can think of?
So we said Wanda Handy. Yeah, I don't know if there are any like DC names that I can think of. Let me think. Estelle later.
Does she have black, like brown hair or blonde hair?
I just imagine her being a brunette, light brown hair. But yeah, I'm open. I'm open. I'm not gonna judge someone a superhero with red hair or blonde hair.
Okay. Any more questions? Yeah. Okay, so let's hear something more about Wanda Handy or Escalator. Which name do you like better?
I don't know. I like them both. I don't have a strong preference. Yeah.
Alright, so we call her your superhero. Let's hear some of, like, what are some situations you see her in DC?
I see her. I mean, I think when I think of DC, like my day-to-day experience of DC, a lot of it does involve the WMATA, which is why it comes so top of mind. I see her riding the subway. I see her helping. Like one other frustrating thing about riding the metro, right, is when you go to get off the metro, there's a lot of people just trying to rush here.
Yeah.
So I imagine her being a little bit of maybe not a referee, but a mitigator. She's like, okay, everybody, like, we're getting off now. Please step aside. Like, you don't have to crowd the front. Or maybe when she's waiting, she's on the other side. Like, oh, hey, let me make sure I leave some room. And try just to lead by example, showing them, pushing people away from the door so that people can get off, people can get on.
Okay, she makes that. It seems like a mess, right?
Yeah, it seems like a mess. So she tries to help make it a little bit more orderly. I see her I feel like sometimes you'll see like somebody who doesn't need to use the elevator, jumping on the elevator, pushing the button, and then the person who has the stroller, who has the bike, or who has the suitcase can't get on the elevator and they have to wait again. So I see her like, helping the person who has the stroller. Like, oh wait, let's hold the elevator for the person with the stroller so that we can all make this work.
Yeah, that's great. So she makes the ride smoother.
Yeah, she makes the experience better for everybody. Yeah, that's how I see it going down.
Okay, has there been any particular instance that has really bothered you in the subway? Like boring announcers or too animated announcers who are too animated?
No, not really. I think the only other two things that have bothered me in those, like in that whole setting, is one, I find it incredibly frustrating when the train comes, and then 1 minute later the train comes, and then 20 minutes later the train comes. So you're waiting for ages between 3 trains or 3 buses that come.
Yeah.
So maybe she helps with that. Maybe if she's in the control room at WMATA, she's like, oh wait, we better hold down that train so that there's not one train, no train, no train, no train.
Yeah. It's good to stagger it out evenly.
Yeah.
Let's say she doesn't have access to the control room. What can she do?
I don't know. She could slow down maybe a bus, right? Like a lot of times the bus will have to stop and wait for the person with the handicap.
Yeah.
So maybe she has a fake wheelchair that she whips out, a magic wheelchair that shows up, and she gets onto the bus in her wheelchair so that she slows the bus down so it's not 111. Or maybe she just talks to the guy, because she's cute. So she like flirts with the bus driver, like he doesn't pay attention, so he goes slower, and then there's this, and then it evens out the whole space.
Okay, so she sees. Can you just say this? So when she sees like the bus is not staggered out evenly, she tries to manipulate the situation. So
Yeah, to help things be smoother.
Can you repeat that?
Sure, I could see her helping smooth out the flow of public transportation. So, for example, instead of having 4 buses come all at the same time, maybe she'll hop on board one, flirt with the guy who's driving the bus, get him to go a little slower, and help spread out the buses. So, 10 minutes from now, there's not an old lady waiting 20 minutes for the bus to come. That would be awesome.
Yeah. That would be.
Uh,
Let's talk about the office scenarios a bit.
okay.
Do you have a government job?
Pardon?
Do you have a government job?
I don't.
Okay.
I work in campaign politics.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you deal with bureaucrats, right?
I really don't in my day to day.
Okay.
I'm pretty fortunate, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what situations do you see her taking on? You said bureaucrats, incompetent bureaucrats bother her a lot.
I don't know. I mean, that's a tough spot, right? Because I feel like a lot of people who are incompetent don't know how incompetent they are. So, or perhaps they're just not very passionate about their positions.
Okay.
I mean, if she wanted to use her charms, if that's one of the, not,
Okay, so she's definitely good looking and charming.
I'd imagine I mean, she doesn't have to be crazy good looking, just, pleasant to look at, not, I imagine her being charming because she's going to be a confident woman who knows that she's making a difference. How could she help? She couldn't but help to be charming. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe if I'd imagine that in a bureaucratic situation, you don't have a lot of charming people to interact with.
Yeah.
So maybe by her being charming, she can encourage people to be more efficient
Okay.
through grace rather than raw superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what kind of incompetencies does it bother her?
People who can't be bothered to do their job.
Okay.
I feel like we definitely have plenty of those in certain bureaucracies here. You know, when you bring them something that's their job, they're like, oh, gosh, really? I actually have to work for my paycheck? Again, I don't know how helpful any one person could be in that situation, but
But
she's
a superhero.
she's a superhero, so I guess she could work something out.
Yeah. She has extraordinary
Maybe she's really good at figuring out exactly what gift to get somebody
Yeah.
to help them be motivated in their day to day. Yeah.
Okay. And getting the right gifts, getting the just getting them going. Efficiency is very important to her in WMATA, in improving job efficiency, like the way people do their jobs.
Sure.
And is there any other particular DC instance that you have come across that has really bugged you? It's like only in DC.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's really hard to find an apartment. Maybe she could help out with that somehow. Maybe instead of everybody randomly finding each other on Craigslist, she helps instead of a matchmaker for romance, a matchmaker for housing situations.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what housing situations were you looking for? Like, what kind of?
Well, I just think there's a lot of really cool neighborhoods in DC that a lot of people want to live in,
Yeah.
and it's hard to find a nice place. And a lot of times when you do find a nice place, it's the landlord trying to charge, way too much, way more than is really reasonable. So maybe she works with those landlords and helps them understand the market better, how to price their apartment better to make it work for everybody.
Okay. As an apartment matchmaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great power to have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that's bothered me about DC.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Good. We're gonna interview you again once we've created the superhero. Once you see her, once you see some of her stuff, you're gonna come back to probably a couple of weeks. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Mario.
You're welcome.
Awesome. So I can give us some film idea right here.
You set it off?
So yeah, the questions, right? Like, most you have an idea and you've thought about this. So
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, nice. Awesome.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So most people in DC have a superhero complex of sorts.
Yeah.
So do you think DC needs a superhero?
I don't know. I mean, DC does have a lot of people with superhero complexes, I think. But DC isn't Gotham. It's like no matter how much it wants to be Gotham, it's like a geekier, more uptight, type A version of Gotham, I think. And probably our superhero would be too. It'd be like a geekier, wonkier version of Batman or something like that. I'm worried that that's the case. It would be like, and it'd be some sort of like geeky political reference too. Like his name would be like Super Pac-Man or something like that. And he would definitely work for like a DC institution, something like probably like the Metro or something like that. I think his day job is a Metro employee. Maybe he rides the bus and he has like a Sherlockian encyclopedic knowledge of everyone that he meets in the city and sees at different stops. He can like remember everyone and all their issues, and that way he gets to eavesdrop a lot too and he hears all these different conversations, which is awesome. And but anyway, okay, and definitely his secret lair, I think, going with the WMATA thing, his secret lair is definitely the DuPont Circle Underground, that abandoned trolley station. Yeah, that's definitely where he lives. And then he can get in there easily, too, because he's wearing the Metro garb during the day, right? So that's his secret thing. All right, so he lives down there, and that's why they haven't been able to make anything out of, like, the Metro Underground thing, too. They keep trying to, but it never works. That's because that's his doing. All right, so he has an encyclopedic knowledge of people in the city, but also, okay, going in line with maybe the Super Pac thing, Super Pac-Man. He's like, he doesn't work. He's not in the federal system. No, he's outside of that. Obviously, he follows no rules. But I think what he actually does is he's like Batman in the sense that actually Batman's superhero is he has cool gadgets, but mostly has lots of money, like tons of money. And that's definitely Super Pac-Man too. But he doesn't give to like campaigns. He gives to individuals that are in very big need of his help and his cash. And I think probably his symbol, instead of a bat symbol, it's probably like a question mark and an exclamation point or something like that, because that's what happens when he strikes. You look at your bank account and you have like $100,000 more in there, and you're like, what? And then you're like, oh! So that's kind of his deal. So yeah, I think that's it. That's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Okay.
All right, cool. Good?
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
We continue.
More stuff,
No, that's it.
There's a lot more questions.
So,
Okay.
okay,
Why don't we do this? Let her stand near a railing, like she's come up to some place and then she's standing to go up, something like that. Rather than keep walking. You want to keep walking?
maybe up to the house and then we haven't crossed the house yet. Yeah, so superpowers. What kind of superpowers does a superhero have?
Well, I mean, I think, like I said, I think that probably his superpowers, like he has cool gadgets and he fights crime a bit, but mostly his superpowers are like encyclopedic knowledge of the entire city, all the quadrants, not just Northwest. Does not restrict himself to that. He's like a unifier of the quadrants, actually. Yeah, because someone needs to do it, right? And also, but yeah, no. Essentially, he has cool gadgets and he lives in the trolley stop and he gives out like hundreds of thousands of dollars to people all the time, and organizations too, like the ones that really need it, that are really doing good work. If there's one thing about DC, it's like it's a town where like the people that have lots of money probably shouldn't, and people that don't have lots of money, they probably should. So he's trying to correct that.
And so what fatal flaw, Hamasha, does your superhero have?
I think probably because it's DC, probably he has a weakness for underage interns. That's probably his kryptonite. And I think that's it, I think. But yeah.
So appearance, like what would, if you had to imagine your superhero, like costume as well as out of costume, how would you imagine him?
So he's in his day job he goes very much unnoticed, because he's just like another Metro employee, wears the Metro uniform, and he maybe drives the bus or something, so then he can go all around to different parts of the city, and he listens to what all these people say, but you don't really think about him, you don't really notice him. And then and then otherwise, I don't know, when he's like really himself, when he's being super Pac-Man, I don't know why, I just think he's a pretty laid-back guy. He has kind of like a Mark Zuckerberg thing going on, wears the hoodie, he's kind of like, fuck you guys, he's good, he's pretty laid-back. Yeah.
Okay. Obviously he has if he's up against, he's a superhero, so he probably has a nemesis he's up against, or a bunch of nemesi.
Well, let's see. He's trying to help people that have no money, by giving them lots of money. So probably his nemesis would be someone that is helping people with lots of money. So maybe actual super PACs are his enemy. Lobbyists are his enemies. Yeah. Citizens United is I don't know. That's getting too geeky. Sorry. I don't know who his enemy is, but probably he has one. The city will come up with one.
Makes sense. And so, what kind of problems on a day-to-day basis does he grapple with, like personal as well as a superhero? One of which you mentioned too, but maybe you want to add any?
Well, obviously he, he's got that thing with the interns, but other than that, he's pretty solid.
Nice, cool. Thanks. Maybe you want to ask the other question?
Yeah. So you call him Super Pac-Man.
I think so, yeah.
But is he against Super PACs?
So I think Super Pac-Man, he's flawed. He's a flawed guy. Maybe in a former life he worked for a Super PAC, or gave lots of money to them. Yeah, that might be true. And now he's seen the dark side for what it is, and he's turned against that. And I think that because of his name, like Super Pac-Man, it's kind of interesting, because I think what he is will also ultimately be like his undoing in a way, because what he really knows is that Citizens United should be defeated, and that's what he's working for ultimately, but he's also working with the system now too. So I think his really his fatal flaw is that what he stands for and his namesake will also be his destruction someday, I think.
So let's talk about his past life. You say he worked for Super PAC.
I think he definitely did, and he was great at it too. Really good.
Okay. And what can you think of the turning moment? Like, what is the point that made him change his ways?
He definitely had a catalyst, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of done. Is that cool? I don't
Oh,
know.
you really don't want?
No, I don't know. I don't have any other ideas.
Okay. No.
Really good.
Yeah, they're really
Yeah, it's
good.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
What's up? Okay.
That's my turn.
All right. We're starting with how long have you been in DC?
I've been in DC for about 5 years.
You look at me. Don't look at camera. Okay. What made you move here?
Like every person in DC, you come here for grad school or a job, and then it's like Hollywood for like people that want to work in development.
Okay.
So you come here like this grandiose concept of doing that, and then you're stuck in a bureaucracy.
People call say DC is Hollywood for ugly people. Do you believe that?
No, God, no. Are you kidding me? Have you not walked around on a Saturday night? No, I mean, it's definitely not full of ugly people. It's full of, I think people here are wealthy and rich. So rich, wealthy people tend not to be ugly. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not it's a city of nerds, but it's also people that, yeah, they're from wealthy families and, yeah, they look good.
And do you feel it's like a one-topic town? Like Hollywood is all about, or Los Angeles is all about films. Do you feel
Yeah.
all about?
It tends to be. It tends to be.
Okay, so for your answers, you have to repeat my question.
Okay.
For your answers.
Okay.
I'm going to be ruining my questions.
All right. DC is definitely it can definitely be a one-topic town. I mean, it is. It's about international development, international this, international that. It is. What school you went to? Yeah, I would agree with that.
And do you feel DC needs a superhero?
Do people need a superhero, or does the city itself? I don't know. I think all cities could use a superhero. DC, why not? Yeah, DC needs a superhero, sure.
And what would be the attributes of DC superhero?
If I said no, then it would just end the kind of thing.
Yeah, you'd be like,
I was just thinking. I'm like, yeah, not really.
No, that's fine. You can be like, yeah, you don't. So you
no,
don't believe in the concept of superheroes?
No. Well, yeah. All right. No, I don't really believe in the concept.
Okay. Did you have any favorite superheroes growing up?
Not really. No.
You don't watch any Batman or Superman?
Batman, a little bit, but it's. No, we should just skip it because I'm going to say no.
No, it's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I think.
Don't worry about your answers.
I mean,
I got you. Okay,
yeah,
I got you. Okay. So
right.
you don't watch Batman or Superman?
Not really, no.
Okay. You said liberal Batman. Do you like him because he's a human being?
Yeah, he has faults. I like Batman because he has faults. He's not one-dimensional like Superman.
Okay.
Superman's too perfect.
Okay.
Which is his problem.
Do you have any real life superheroes or superheroes in general? Do you have any real life? Like if I ask you who's your hero, Gandhi, Mandela,
you
like
are
that?
my hero.
Yeah.
Fuck, no, not really.
No,
There's a
God.
heavy
nobody you
chemistry going on
aspire.
out here. I think we
Jesus
should
Christ.
make ourselves scared right now.
No, not really. God, this is fucking sad, isn't it? No, I have no person that I say is like.
No sports, no Michael Jordan poster in your
Jesus,
room.
man. I fucking almost want to say Obama. I really like Obama. No, I don't think there's one person. There's no one person you can look to in the world right now and say he's leading or she's leading the world to a better place. And if the world would only all be like that person, then the world would be a better. There's no person like that exists. So my concept of superhero is someone who can like inspire other people towards perfection, towards like a better human. I don't know. I don't see that, especially in DC.
But in the past, let's go historical.
Okay, historically, yeah, people like Gandhi, people like Martin Luther King, people that you could not ignore, even if you disliked. You couldn't ignore their policies. If you just, it was amazing to see someone who believed in something so much that, you know, I mean, there's very few people you run into who say, I know what I want to do and I'm willing to die for it. That makes someone to become a superhero because you're not afraid to die. So you're willing to defy, you know, death. Yeah. So then you are in some ways a superhero. But around, I don't see anyone like that anymore.
Do you feel like the struggles? I mean, we had centuries where we had to struggle against slavery and so many kinds of prejudices. Do you feel we've overcome a lot of those?
It's one step forward, one step back kind of thing. Like, yes, I mean, people have moved. So, I mean, it's amazing. obviously how much we've gone. But nowadays things are so easy. We don't need each other. Everyone lives in their own English basements or their studios, and it's not a world where you really rely that much on other people. No one collects the other person's wood while that person hunts. So you can be self-sufficient and not need anyone, and then you can be rude and drive in your car and not give a shit about anyone else. I think manners is gone.
Okay, you feel it's a lot more isolated in today's society and in DC.
Yeah, I think it's a time of isolation in many ways, and you can see that with countries and politics, Republicans, Democrats. You see the Europeans, everyone's worried about themselves, and then nothing gets done.
Now, given the scenario, do you think if you could create a superhero, if you could sit down and use fiction as a way to inspire?
I would have a superhero. I think what's amazing about DC is everyone here came here for a purpose. No one sat on their couch and was like, I'm just going to take a job in DC. People come here because they want to work here. They want to be a part of something. But then a lot of people come here and then they're stuck in jobs that they don't have any meaning to them. So a superhero that can connect people to their passion would be an ideal superhero. Can say, this is what you wanted to do, this is what you're doing now, but what do you really want to do, and then help you connect that, help you find that. That would be my superhero.
Tyler Durden kind of guy.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't want to simplify it and reduce it.
No,
Right? I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So let's try to create one for ourselves right now.
All right.
So we have the basic attributes of what he will do. Make people passionate about what's inside them.
Yeah, connect them to their passion. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, people come here because they really give a shit about something, and then they come here and they stop because they're working in bureaucratic jobs or they're just pushing papers. But the real concept of what they want to do lies somewhere out there. I think to help find people, drive them back towards that, not let them lose their passion, their hunger to do something important would be very relevant.
Okay.
Fucking up my scene there.
Yeah, I know. Just kick off the set.
Amateurs.
Yeah. So, do you like fiction?
Yeah. Yeah. Science fiction. Yeah, it's all.
Okay. So let's use your desire, your passion for fiction, and the idea, because this is a film about superheroes. Let's try to create somebody. Let's say, what kind of identity does this superhero have?
I mean, yeah. I mean, someone that I think someone that you would have to seek out, right? You have to be ready to change, right? So you're here, you have a job you don't like, you have to be willing to take the steps, like a guru or of some sort, where you know he resides somewhere and you have to work to get to this person.
Okay, so your superhero would be an abstract form that he's not like he shows up every night or something. It's somebody you want to go and find.
Yeah, you have to find it, because all things that are worth anything, you have to put work into it. Okay. So he doesn't just show up in your apartment and go, what am I doing with my life? You have to make a decision to yourself, and then you have to seek him out.
Okay, it's very philosophical.
Yeah.
Have you found any superheroes that look at philosophy as a motive to guide them, or use it in their, or is it just very simple, good versus bad? You find?
No, I don't think it's good versus bad.
No, but
yeah.
The superheroes out there right now.
I think the superheroes out there are the people that who have no ego, who are not obsessed with like being right or wrong, who are not obsessed with what other people think, who have like let themselves go and completely. Okay. So like the idea of this, the Buddhist idea to some extent speaks to me, and I think that person, let him, then he guides you. He takes the fallen, right, in some aspects. Okay. Helps you to find out who you are, like by asking you questions for self-discovery, and then guide you back on a path. So you're actually here doing something that, again, you believe in.
Okay. So here's a superhero who will help guide you on a journey you decide yourself to take.
Yeah. No, yes, exactly. I mean, he can't tell you what you want.
Okay.
He helps you. He's like a compass.
Okay. And can I ask you this question? Are you religious?
I'm spiritual.
Spiritual.
Yeah.
Okay. And so your spiritual practice has helped guide you to this conclusion that a hero truly is just somebody who can guide you on a path.
Yeah, I think to some aspect we all know. We all know why we came to DC. We all have like inner desires that like push you to come here.
Okay.
So just reawakening that, because people don't have role models in DC. People don't have like tutors or like people to look up to in general. People come here like they want to go to school, they want this job, but then they don't know how to get there. And then after a while, they just kind of lose this desire of what they want to do based on money and buying this, getting this prestige and the status, going to this school, and then all of a sudden you're working like some stupid ass job where your ideas of why you came here are gone. Then you start to have all these personal problems. You're unhappy with your job, the money's not enough, your girlfriend's shit, and all that other stuff. Someone who can reinvigorate you by taking what you already knew and retelling it.
And have you ever felt like yourself as a superhero? Have you ever helped guide a friend?
I would like to say yes. I mean, I would think that we all try to do that to each other and listen to each other's friends and remind them of what's important, just listening and telling them what the same thing they're telling back. I think a good friend is always that person.
And you've had a friend do that to you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's talk about personally. Like,
okay.
When did you, what job did you start off with at DC?
Like many DC people, I started off on the Hill as an intern.
Okay.
Then went to graduate school, and then got a job in a really important place. But the job itself is very important, and you're doing important stuff. But you're not actually you feel like you're not touching what you wanna do.
Okay.
You're just doing numbers all day. You're not actually interacting with people. You're not seeing the change that you're supposed to be creating.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're not even sure if you're creating any change.
Okay. Gandhi said, "Be the change." Do you feel you are the change, though?
I don't think I am completely at this point.
Okay. So DC is also like the best read, most athletic city in the country.
Yeah.
And the reason they give is that these type A people come here and they're stuck in these 40-hour government jobs, but they have the desire, so they read
They do. No, it is. I mean, but the thing is, you can't find it in a book. I mean, everyone reads. A lot of people in DC, you walk into their houses and they have huge libraries and a lot of intellectual books, but you can't find what you want in a book. It's like it can be a map to some extent, but you have to do it on your own. I mean, you have to put yourself out there to find out.
Yeah, because DC itself is actually not only isolated from the world, it's isolated from DC itself.
Yeah, from the northwest to the
Can you talk about that a little bit? Do you feel like you're isolated from parts of DC?
I mean, to some aspects, yes. I mean, how many times have you gone to the northeast, to the northwest, unless you have to do one particular thing, and then you come right back? Yeah, DC is a very bubble place, absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk about the isolation you talked a lot about international development earlier. How do you feel DCIs can be connected to the troubles or the circumstances of international?
I think the development can be right here. Like, DC needs a lot of work in the northeast and north-south. People work on development, but they all want to go to Africa and they all want to go to South America. But a lot of the issues that are important in DC are issues that are right here in their own town. The southeast is like, I mean, we were working and fixing a house a few weeks ago, and the woman didn't have running water in her house for a year. And then these are issues you think only happen in developing countries, but it's right here in DC. But everyone's hoping to jump on a plane to leave. But these are the issues that our people aren't passionate about. They're just not passionate to do it here for whatever reason. And to me, it's like it's about a personal goal to like some romantic idea of what development is. It's like Hemingway or something, when really you just need to look in your own front door. And to me, that can be frustrating.
Doesn't that kind of make it all the more prevalent to have a DC superhero that things goes by?
Yeah, they can connect to people and remind them that they're the issues absolutely.
Yeah, and Imran, go ahead, Imran.
Yeah.
Okay. But look at this direction.
We got a deep inside the Solomon soul.
No,
Yeah.
This is how we
And your
started,
search is over, Solomon. You found me, the guru.
I just kissed your face on camera, like a 3-minute makeout scene. It doesn't even make any sense.
Okay. He's gonna ask you.
All right. Is this coming from Facebook from someone emailing live? I'm sorry.
Calls coming in. No, okay. Now what we do is just wipe out everything that you just said. Let Imran start. So this can be the other side.
Okay, the different one.
This,
Okay, go ahead.
shallow,
So start over
just be
completely.
yourself, basically.
Alright.
Shallow and an ass.
No. I was gonna do a different superhero this time then.
Yeah, do that.
No,
Are you mean?
don't.
Do the same one?
No, don't. He's the glue of the film. He's the guy he's entering the film with.
No, but just do it, right?
Okay, fine.
No, because
Wait, what are we
what
doing?
he spoke about
Was that about a superhero?
Yeah.
That's London stuff.
yeah. But you got. We're happy that you
it
got an insight into
No,
so, but it
that's-
doesn't do anything for his movie.
does a lot. It does a lot.
I guess
Do you want to keep this one or switch to switch?
I
All
should
right.
keep this one. I should
Okay.
keep this one.
All right.
What is this one?
Just go ahead, ask a question. He knows what I'm talking about.
Apparently, do you?
It's a spiritual connection.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
I'm right here. I can hear. I have no
I
idea.
reach over and just touch your face.
No, but you know to keep it.
Yeah, I'll keep it.
Okay, so one thing is, yeah, so DC, you know, people have this, we already talked about like the whole superhero complex people have. So do you think, so what would your superhero look like?
If you had to envision one.
If you had to use one?
I mean, if you want to envision.
So basically, you know, what the identity would be, you know, would it be male, female, sexual orientation, you know, basically describe your superhero.
Yeah.
Like, envision the superhero for DC.
I don't think it would have it would have a particular sex that would stand out. It wouldn't be like, oh, it's got to be a male or a female. I think the superhero would be someone who doesn't look like. There's no like ostentatious look of wealth. There's no desire to look a certain way. There's just comfortable clothes and relaxed. And the concept of the only thing that's relevant is what's in here and what's really going on. Someone who can see is not consumed with bullshit, like a lot of people in DC are, right? I mean, in the world, not just DC, people are obsessed with how they're perceived by other people, you know. And I think when you dwell on that and you become obsessed with that, you miss out on amazing things.
So that means your superhero would just be hiding in plain sight. So no secret identity.
No. I mean, look at the way Gandhi dressed, or people who just wore comfortable clothes. He looked like a homeless person. He's a homeless person.
Okay.
He looks like he's on a bench sleeping.
So your superhero looks
He actually begs for change.
Okay. Right. And so what superpowers do you think?
I mean,
he looks like it's a he now.
He has a unique ability to take what you want to do or what's inside you, and guide you as a compass would towards what's relevant for you to do. So take your passions, help you rediscover what they are, and put you on the right path.
Something like a guidance counselor.
Yeah, but someone who's who really understands, who has in some ways divine ability, someone who truly understands himself and has that ability to do that.
It's like a superhero helps you create many more superheroes. Is that
Exactly. Yeah, they could say that. Yeah.
repeat that? No. Yeah.
Fuck you, man. It's genius. I'm gonna fucking repeat it. It's a superhero that creates other superheroes. I love it.
What fatal flaw do you think your superhero would have, if any? How much?
I think he doesn't have any fatal flaws, but other people perceive it to be. So he has no wealth. He has no income. He has no status in the sense of people perceive him as worthless. People walk by the street and they're not concerned about him. So people see he's just, he probably walks with a cane. And that's how people see him. So that's other people's flaw. But he has none because he's not concerned with anything. He knows he's going to die. He knows he's not perfect, but he embraces all of that. So it flaws.
And does he have a nemesis he's up against?
Yeah, I think the nemesis is greed. It's greed and in stupidity, in waste. It's like a waste of your life. That's his nemesis. Wasted talent.
Okay. And you said no costumes, just comfortable clothes.
Yeah, I mean, how many people that exist in DC are genius artists, like Michelangelos, that sit there and work on Excel charts because they've never been guided towards something that they really feel like they want to do. All this wasted potential in the world is just gone. And so his nemesis is people who are oblivious,
Yeah, I guess.
All your questions are mute points now.
Okay, yeah, suggest a name for your superhero. Last question.
Solomon.
Gosh.
I don't know.
Whatever you want.
I mean,
Siddhartha, what do you say?
I know.
Buddha.
Buddha. you know, I think Austin. I don't know what's his name. Lucius. Agamemnon. There you go. That's a tongue. I don't know. Agamemnon. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we can always try the name.
Yeah. Kitty.
So tell me one thing. How does this shot?
Actually, you can go to Alright.
You got my question.
Yeah. Which person comes? So, do you watch superhero movies?
Not really. Just the only ones I've ever enjoyed were the Spider-Man ones.
Why do you like the Spider-Man ones?
Because it's actually a story, not just action.
Okay. Was Spider-Man 2?
I think so. I saw Spider-Man 2, yeah.
Imran's favorite too. I was sure. You guys watched it together.
Oh, no.
Oh. Coincidence. So, do you think DC needs a superhero?
Yeah. I mean, any city would need a superhero, I think.
But do you feel like there's a particular attributes to a DC superhero?
Particular attributes to a DC superhero?
Yeah.
Wait, can we pause this?
Yeah.
Can you pause it?
It's fine. We just edited.
Like, what do you mean? Like, because of DC being the way it is, or?
Yeah. So you've been in the city for 4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of hero would come and save DC?
From what?
From whatever ails DC. What problems do you think DC faces as a city?
Among its people, or the leaders, or?
Like Mario said, he found like the biggest problems to be the WMATA, the metro system.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
He felt bureaucrats, uninspired bureaucrats, is a problem. Stuff like that. Like, what are the problems you face in DC?
You know, actually, I love DC. I think it's a great city. I don't. Bureaucracy, yes, for sure. I feel people here tend to be so caught up, I think, in international relations and sort of kind of federal level things that they don't really understand what's going on, you know, in smaller cities or other parts of the country. So maybe a superhero then would, I don't know, bring people awareness of what actual people are facing here as opposed to this little bubble that we live in.
Okay, so he's somebody who brings awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, so what is his or her identity? Let's talk about, do you think it's a male or a female?
Female.
And what is her secret identity? Does she have like a real person version and then like a superhero version?
Like, does she change appearance, you mean?
Yeah, like Clark Kent is Superman or Bruce Wayne and Batman kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she'd look different when she's in her superpower persona, I suppose.
What's how does she normally look? Like, what is she like? What kind of job does she have?
Let's see. She would work for perhaps maybe an international NGO.
Okay. Imran, you can jump in also.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so international NGO.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she'd be what, an intern there, or like middle management, or?
No, she'd be a senior leader, I think.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of person is she? Like, is she outgoing? Is she reserved? Is she?
Yeah, she's very intelligent and personable and nice and modest and humble.
And what are her superpowers?
Well, her superpower would be that she could go to any part of the world or any part of the country and be able to relate to people there. So she'd understand, like, what people are going through. She'd understand the issues that they would face. She would, she'd basically be able to relate to any community.
What are her fatal flaws? Does she have, like, a kryptonite or?
So something that could like destroy her, you mean?
Yeah.
Fatal flaw is, I think, something that's within her is hamartia. Something that could lead to a downfall.
Oh, like hubris.
Yeah, hubris. That's hamartia.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Never heard this word before.
I don't. Can I think about that one? Can we come back to that one later? Okay.
Probably the nemesis. That's one.
Okay, 9 number. Yeah. Well, what kind of nemesis? What's the opponent?
Oh, I think that I could play.
Yeah.
Does she have to have one? Maybe she doesn't have to have one.
Does she?
No, I don't think so. I think everyone likes her.
Realistic ideas of superheroes then it's very difficult to probably do more structural blockades that people have, like inefficiencies in office politics and corporate.
Well, it could be like a creepy boss.
Somebody who really hates her, though? I don't think so.
It's just nemesis. It doesn't have to. Nemesis may admire you also, and like it, but gets in your way, obstructs you from doing what you're good at. It could be a love-hate relationship. It could be a creepy boss. It could be anything. Like
Yeah. Okay. So I think it would then be the CEO of an evil multinational corporation.
Yeah.
I think of that one.
Yeah. It's Gates. Can you suggest a name for a superhero? Do you have a name?
Oh, well, a name that could be from anywhere.
Like Imran?
No, not Imran. And that's a male's name anyway. Like a name, yeah, that you wouldn't be able to tell where this person... It could be from anywhere. So, I don't... Can we come back to that one too?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Can I go around and come back to this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm
No,
going to
you're
go
on.
around.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah. Then we're going to come back to
Now
that.
it's Manish's open.
Let's talk about you. I can't take myself seriously, guys. Thank you. No, so you've been here for 4 years, and what has been your experience in DC? Have you been doing the job you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, I love the city very much. I think it's the perfect mix of a bunch of different cities I've lived in. So I find that DC's kind of got the best of a lot of different places. And in terms of have I been doing what I want to be doing, professionally, yes. I think that there's just so much to do here that it's kind of hard to feel that you're really doing everything you want to be doing. With the limited time that you have.
You said it's a mix of cities. What cities have you been to?
Well, I grew up in New Jersey, and I worked in New York for some time, and New York is very overwhelming for me at this point, and really just chaotic, and people there tend to be kind of on the colder side. And then I lived in Atlanta, and it's sort of the opposite in some ways. People are really nice, and things are really slow, and people just enjoy their time, and there's no real rush there. And I think DC is kind of a mix of the two because, it feels like a city. It feels very metropolitan, but at the same time, you have people from so many different places. It doesn't really have that character of being a cold city. And
so it has the combination of the big town and small town for you.
I think so, yeah.
And what kind of work do you do again?
I'm in international public health.
Okay. One of our previous interviewers was saying DC doesn't feel connected to the international community, even though there are people from a lot of different places. And we're working with, a lot of DCIs are working with international development. It seems disconnected. One perhaps is the wealth of DC. You also said it's isolated. Do you feel that's true?
You mean communities within DC are isolated from each other, or?
Yes, that's one. Plus, since so many people are working in international development, they are disconnected from the work there or the people they're supposed to be helping out. Do you find that as a problem?
I mean, I think it goes back to what I was saying before, is that I think a lot of people in DC are disconnected from issues outside of DC if they're working sort of at a federal level or if they're working in international development. I don't really see, I mean, I feel like DC's got a real sense of community. It's such a small city that it's hard to see sort of, there's definitely disparity, wealth disparity, but I think that's anywhere. I mean, the wealthy here are very disconnected from those who are not well off, and so, but yeah, that's anywhere you go. I don't really. But in terms of communities, it's a small space. So there are no defined borders really of communities here, and I feel people just kind of communities run into each other, and so yeah.
Yeah. So heroes, we're working on this because the idea is that heroes inspire us, they motivate us, push us further. Do you have any? Let's talk about real life heroes. Do you have any current heroes that are in your life, or you see around, or you see on TV, or you read about in the newspaper?
I mean, there are people that I admire.
Yeah, you can talk about who you admire.
I mean, there are many, I think, international human rights activists that I admire. Can we stop for a second? Yeah. Okay.
Celebrities, man.
Yeah. You checking the headroom?
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, the eye level is 2/3. Is it rolling? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, first, can I take back my the profession?
Start afresh.
I think that she should be a farmer. That's what I've decided. I think she should be a farmer because she farms food that would anything organic, but then she sells it at a normal price. Because I think that food is like definitely. I mean, it's such a basic human right, and the fact that people go hungry in this country is absolutely, really upsetting, and so that could be one of her powers is that she can grow unlimited amounts of food.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what does she look like? What is her appearance like?
She looks like a normal farmer.
Okay.
Like she's been out in the sun, harvesting.
Does she wear like those overalls or?
Sometimes, some days. But she's just a normal farmer.
Okay. And the trick is that you have to repeat my questions.
Okay.
Because we're taking out my questions.
Oh, okay.
So, and which state? Where is she located?
Let's see. I don't know. What's a good farming state? Kansas.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she comes to DC to sell, or?
She comes to DC to lobby for farmers' rights.
Okay. And she's very grounded in reality. She is a normal person.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But with just great intentions, good heart.
But she has superpowers, right?
Yes, she has superpowers. Well, one superpower is that she can grow unlimited amounts of food to feed everybody. And the second one is the one I said earlier, that she could go to any part of the world or any part of the country and be able to relate to the issues that people are facing there. She can speak whatever dialect, whatever language that they speak there, and she'd be able to fit in completely culturally.
Okay. And does she have a secret, does she change her identity, or does she stay this way throughout? Like, does she have a secret persona and then transforms into the super farmer, or?
Well, so she's a farmer normally, and then when she becomes a superhero, you mean?
Yeah.
Or superheroine,
yeah.
rather.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Well, maybe she'd don a cape or something, and her farmer's hat.
And Yeah. So you talking earlier? Like, what would be her nemesis? Who would she be standing up against?
Well, I said the CEO of a multinational corporation, so maybe like Monsanto or something.
Okay. And what kind of ethnicity do you see her
as? You mean by appearance?
Yeah.
She could look like she's anything.
Okay, okay. And what is
Bigger problems she grapples with.
Yeah.
On a day-to-day basis.
Drought conditions, maybe. Genetically modified organisms.
Sorry, what did you say?
GMOs.
Oh, GMOs? What are GMOs?
Genetically modified organisms. Is that what that stands for? Organisms?
Yeah.
But no, yeah, so, you know, any problem that a farmer would deal with.
Okay.
Patented seed, fertilizers, those types of things. Pesticides.
Yeah, what about her fatal flaw? She can be perfect. Amartya. The fatal flaw that she has.
What brings her downfall?
Yeah. Could potentially. For Othello, it was hubris. No, hubris.
I mean, if
That's
she's
Iago.
from...
Iago was.
That's nice.
Well,
Too trusting.
Too trusting.
well, like I said, I mean, everybody likes her, so she doesn't really have an enemy who's trying to destroy her.
Go ahead.
So, but I mean, if she has something that's important to her,
Mhm.
she's trying to solve a problem. Someone's benefiting from her not solving that problem. So then those would, right, in some ways, be your enemies. So, so how would they try to stop her from carrying out, you know, her like missions every day?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it would again be so. Well, like yeah, along the lines of her enemy, sort of food corporations that you know.
So what would they do? What would they do to stop her? Because they're getting rich, like these fat cats counting their money, petting their cat, laughing. And then what are they doing?
Well, I think it would also be people who don't necessarily believe that food is a human right. So maybe it would be. I don't really like this question. Can we try another question? Sorry.
So like fatal flaw. We still back to that fatal. Like what the problem with her basically? It's not like say Superman. He's just so pompous sometimes, and he doesn't. Sometimes he makes mistakes because he's so overconfident. And there's like all these other Achilles' heel is weak. So what is her fatal flaw or weakness? Or if she does, do you think she's perfect?
No, she's not perfect. Ooh, those are the.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, and next question. Can we just...
No, you're good. Is there anything you want to add? Is there any questions that you feel we should ask?
Well, yeah, I mean, what were your ideas when you thought of a DC superhero?
I like Solomon's.
Siddhartha.
Yeah, no, that's Siddhartha. It's just gonna be slow motion Solomon. No, you can explain yours. Like, what are you talking about?
No. What I was saying was people that
Are we done?
Well, she's asking about what the reason is that you guys are doing this. So, like, Emran, you should probably answer that question. why are you guys doing this? Yeah, like what's the point of like the superhero? Is that what you're thinking? Kind of.
Oh, because DC, you know, like New York has so many. It's just like, what the hell? DC, even though people have, like, everyone here is always like trying to save people and save the world kind of complex. They have, so DC should have one too. It's a very shallow, superficial motive. It's not like a deep answer. It's just to create a DC superhero, which is kind of nice. You know, maybe his or her or something that represents the feel of DC. Because see, New York, you get the feel that, you know, that the superheroes that are from New York, they're kind of dark and they're long alleys. So I was just kind of curious to see what the people in DC would think about a superhero in DC, how that would fit in, you know, bouncing off the Washington Monument, or whether going in the dodgy neighborhoods of southeast, or I just wanted to see what people think, and it would be nice to film it and then maybe create a superhero. That would be awesome, or more probably, like a league of superheroes. It's nice, kids enjoy it, grown-ups enjoy it. So I thought.
But why would a DC superhero be any different than a New York superhero, or?
Because they're different cities, different ideals, different kinds of. Hopefully, it would be different because it's different cities. It's so like the whole motives of people here are way more different than New York. So that's why that was the main motive of seeing. It's fun, and also no one else gave any other ideas. Brainstorming session.